Site visit at our project 174, and we are plastered. So looking funky on this side, but pretty slick on this side. So you guys saw that we framed everything. I have this nice archway here. Got a little detail work to wrap up, but this side has that nice arch top looking at the entry door, which goes out into a common hallway, which I want to dress that side of the door up to replicate what this bathroom door will look like, so it doesn't just look like a slab door. But going back in here, we work with the guys over at Wes over at Archways and Ceilings for our framing kit. It's kind of tough to see, but essentially this goes up into this barrel on all four sides, and the thought is that it's a small little hallway, so all be painted one color, and it gives it the illusion that there's really no stopping point, and we'll have a much nicer light fixture than that. And you can see this door didn't get plastered because this will be an easy jam. Easy jam is a metal door frame that gets plastered in, and then a slab door, so it will sit completely flush with the plaster. Baseboard will run right across that, so you just have this little 1/8 inch reveal all the way around. Nice hidden door, and we'll add some shelving or maybe a closet rod or something in there. And then what we're using for door jams, we've experienced a lot of them. This is a low voltage system, and it's essentially a magnet on this side. A device on this side, well, essentially a magnet. So when the door shuts, the magnet activates the light and shuts it off. Working our way in. So a lot of this flooring has to be patched. You can see kind of all different directions. And what we're going to be doing is taking everything out of this room. This is the primary bedroom. Taking all this existing floor, we'll use it to patch all of the main living area spots all the way throughout, and then we'll install new pine. We'll sand the entire space in efforts to make the new pine look like the old. Actually looks like Doug fir, but we found out from Will from Premier Woodcrafting, who's going to be doing the work, that this is indeed pine. Window jambs are all built out. I like this little detail Tony did. So these are extension jambs, and he added this sill light right here. And the reason he did this is because this building doesn't have the ability to add air conditioning because there's no rooftop access for the condensers. So a lot of these people will put a window unit in the summer, and we add this little sill light, which will be behind these traditional looking shutters, so you're not running a cord down. Really thoughtful, thinking ahead, love it. You actually see this condensation here. This is from the plaster. Obviously the weather outside, but the plaster in here, all the moisture curing. A lot of you guys ask why we use drywall over plaster. I don't have a good reason, but on episode 141 of The Modern Craftsman, which will be out next week if you're watching this today, when I release the video, but episode 141, we actually have John from National Gypsum, and we talk about drywall versus plaster, so make sure you watch that. Steel beam. We've already talked about this, but here's our vent for our laundry unit, which will be right here. A few of you guys have asked how we're going to vent the dryer. It's an all-in-one unit, condensing dryer, no vent needed. So we just need a plumbing drain, which is tucked in here. This is going to get a forged and patina finish. And we have some additional steel legs that will be in this island that kind of surrounds this post here. Should look pretty slick. Kitchen shop drawings we'll share at another time, but very traditional shaker style. This will actually go all the way to the ceiling because of the low ceiling, and our crown molding within the space will run through our cabinetry all the way throughout the entire space. Take a look at this bathroom here. See if I can get enough light. So the ceiling is done, shower is not prepped, and the walls are not plastered yet. And the reason being is, let me do my best to walk you through it. Linear drain right here. The floor is pitched from here back to the linear drain. On the opposite side of that linear drain, right here, so linear drain, the glass door will be here with the sweep. So when the door shuts, it will sweep into the linear drain. Any water dripping down will go into the drain. It's important that we use a tiled cover because it gives you that continuous slot all the way around. So when water is shedding down, it has two opportunities to get into there without running across the top of the drain, making its way out. But that door sweep also helps. On this wall, we'll have basically our outside corner, and we'll go back into here, and we'll bury our glass track in the floor so that there's no exposed track, there's no fasteners. That's a tile. I'm actually going to show you it, the profile. It's a glass track that gets installed with the tile. Now the reason these walls aren't plastered is because we need to prep this side. Sorry, it's so dark. Let me see if I can get my flashlight here. So essentially, we need to prep this side. There's a niche here. We'll come over here with our Schluter board, and then what we'll do is we'll take our Schluter or our Curdy and then come around this corner and onto this blue board, and that waterproofs the corner there. And why that's important is because we're going to have our glass track here, so when the tile comes, you'll end with a jolly. So if you can pretend that this is a jolly right here, which is the L shape, basically capping the end of the tile, right adjacent to that right here will be our glass track. And when we install that glass track, we need the flange to go over here, and then we will waterproof on top of that flange. Now at that point, we can then plaster this wall, but what we'll do, since that glass track is deeper, we'll actually add another layer of blue board on top of that glass track, and then plaster that with a stop bead against the glass track. A lot of details here. Stop bead, and that's going to allow us to have completely flushed out glass, no exposed track. And so it's a little back and forth. We plastered the ceiling. So let me back up. We will essentially prep the shower. We will then plaster the walls, and then we will then tile. So that's essentially how this goes. Let me show you what that glass track looks like real quick. So let me get so this is the Schluter Jolly. So this is pretty standard. This just gets the tile, goes right against that edge here. And then our Schluter glass track, that's what that looks like. So it's the Schluter SG. Let me show you guys. So there's different sizes. We have 3/8 and a half inch. So the width of this is actually 1/2 inch, which is designed for 3/8 glass. 9/16 wide would be for 1/2 inch glass. But this right here is where the tile actually sits on top. So when you're all said and done, the glass is buried and your tile is completely flush with that. We'll walk through those details again. Linear drain, pretty much exclusively using the Schluter products. And furthermore, this will get Dietra heat on the floor. We'll run that Dietra heat into the shower. We'll actually run one cord up and then onto the bench. A few reasons we do that. Stepping out here from a nice warm floor into a cold shower floor doesn't make sense. Important detail, I talk about this a lot. If you're going to run heat cable in the shower, you absolutely must install Curdy waterproofing membrane on top of the Dietra. The cable cannot be in a wet location. It has to be waterproofed on top. So you basically Dietra, cable, thin set, Curdy. And then the same thing with the bench. If you're in here and you're just relaxing and sitting on the bench, you don't want that stone to be cold. You get that heat cable. We'll basically set that thermostat and forget it. We'll bury that thermostat in the vanity. If they ever want to adjust it, they can go on the Wi-Fi and adjust it. So Mike, Liz, Tony, they're probably talking about nothing. Little recess for the TV on right here, adjacent to kitchen. Basically, it created that recess to allow that TV to sit in there, bury the bracket at the very least. And then living room, we got another easy jam. This will be hidden in the wall. A lot of this actually gets wallpapered, so that'll be wallpapered as well. Same detail here is we want our baseboard to be continuous all the way throughout, and then our door to basically swing on top of that easy jam. A little window bench is going to go over here where Tony is. That's going to be an office with some French doors that open up, so we create this kind of pass through in a small space. It's actually really important to have some, pass through to make it feel larger than it really is. And then the old fireplace has been demoed, and we have an electric unit going in there, all electric. So we're not dealing with any venting, and we'll be working with Kukin Brothers for their molding collection for baseboard, for crown molding, for casing, as well as the mantle. So quick little update over here in Beacon Hill. If you guys like the site visits, you know what to do. We'll see you guys next week.